In this video, I'm going to show you how you can recreate these Alex Hormozi thumbnails, these 3, in Canva, and it's very simple. Let's just get right into it. Starting with this one, I first asked ChatGPT to just remove the text of it so that we have an image to work with. Obviously, you would just want to take a picture of you looking at your phone or looking at a laptop, doing whatever. We're just going to use this one right here though. So I'm just going to download this and we're going to go to Canva, create a new design. This design has the custom size of 1280 by 720. So not 1920 by 1080, but 1280 by 720, very important. And then we're just going to import this image. Scale it up so there's no white on either side, like so. And then move it down in this case. The cap now became adventure.com. All right, not bad. And we just want to make sure that he's centered basically and that everything looks okay. And then we have basically a vignette effect. We have kind of a highlight in the middle, and then we have the text with a color change and also the drop shadow. So let's just recreate all of that. We're going to do the vignette effect last, and first actually have him pop out from the background a bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Canva's background remover. You can also use remove.bg to do this for free if you don't have Canva Pro. I'm just going to click on that. Hold on. Undo, undo, undo. First I'm going to duplicate the layer. Then I'm going to remove the background on the top layer so that now I have him here on an extra layer and I have the bottom layer. I'm going to select the bottom layer by going here, go to edit and then turn down the brightness and also go back and add a blur effect so that when we add the text it's going to be easier to read. Like so, 20 should be fine. And there we go. If we do a before and after, this is the before, this is the after. That's already nice. And then we can start adding the text before we add the vignette effect. Your time is limited. We're just going to copy that. Your time is limited. Now, depending on what video you make, obviously, you want to change this so that it fits the title. That's very important that thumbnails don't repeat what the title already says. That's a mistake that I see a lot of people do in my school community, which, by the way, if you want to get some feedback on your channel, on your thumbnails, on your video ideas, first link in the description. It's very cheap to join. You get 5 video ideas that you can just steal for your channel every single week. You get live group calls. You get a small crash course as well. So that's going to be in there. But we're just going to change this to yellow now because I think that's what he used. Yep, he used a very specific yellow though. So we're just going to screenshot that, import that into the Canva project, and just use the color picker over here. So we go to add new color on this pick a color thing, and then we just choose this yellow so that we have the exact yellow color. So if you wanted to use the same color, I can just tell you what it is now. You can just type in FAFF0F. And then obviously we need the drop shadow, and his font is also a lot bigger or bolder, which we can use maybe Helvetica bold. That helped a bit. We also have Helvetica Now Black. So this is definitely a lot bolder. Could also use Gotham, another very good font. So these two both look pretty good. So let's go with the bold one here. Now I would recommend just sticking to one font on your channel. So I usually go with Helvetica Neue. Helvetica Neue, this one right here. But we can use Gotham for this one. And then obviously we need the drop shadow from this thumbnail, which is a very strong drop shadow. So we're just going to go to lift and then turn this all the way up. And since we're on Canva, it's not strong enough. That is annoying. Let's try shadow instead. Without an offset, we turn up the blur to the max and we turn this to black. That still doesn't look enough to me. So what we're going to do is we're just going to duplicate this and put it on top of each other 3 times, 4 times, until now the drop shadow is strong enough. Those are the kind of tricks that you need to do with Canva if you use it. I usually design my thumbnails in Photoshop, so there I have a lot more control. And then since we need this vignette effect, there's probably some way to do this in Canva too, but I'm just going to copy that from my preset pack, which you can get in my school community, or you can search up vignette effect overlay and then just test out a whole bunch of images till you find one that works. We're going to paste that on top over here. And then we have this vignette effect. Now I do think it's a bit too strong over the text right now, so we're just gonna move it further away a bit, obviously have it centered still. And with that, we don't really have it copied. This does not look the same. Now also the AI image is just not that great, to be honest, because his head is very long in this one, but we should definitely find a better font. That's actually not too bad. Yep, we're gonna use this one. Leak Spartan. And duplicate 4 times. And then paste the vignette effect on top. There you go, that's thumbnail 1. Now let's move on to thumbnail 2, which is going to be a very similar process, but thumbnail 3 is going to be a different process. So let's do this one real quick so that we get the reps in. I'm just going to use one of my own pictures for this one. So we're going to go with this. This one is kind of okay. So as you can see, this is literally just a screenshot that I took from a video that I recorded. And that's actually the easiest way to come up with, to take thumbnail pictures in my opinion, by just looking into the camera a bit strangely at the start of the video. Now here the colors are very washed out, I think. So we're gonna go to edit first and actually click on auto adjust. Maybe that helps. That did help a bit, but I do wanna get more contrast in here. Don't know why it would turn down the contrast. More vibrance, yeah. And then same thing as last time, duplicate. Make sure that it's on the same place, background remove. Now it's separate, and we're gonna select the background. Go to edit, adjust, turn down the brightness. In this one actually quite a lot, and it's very blurred out. So we're gonna do that too. Brightness minus 100 even, sure. Turn down the highlights, turn down the shadows, turn down the whites. Now it's very dark, and we're gonna blur it out, of course. Blur. Bam. All right, then we're gonna add a drop shadow on this one. So edit, and then shadows, glow. What I don't like about Canva is that it moves away my layer when I do this, but we're just gonna readjust it again and no one is gonna notice. So we're just gonna move it around a bit, and I just increased the intensity by 2, I think. So that should be fine. And then we're gonna need our big text. Let's try using the same one again. And it's now or never. Now or never. We have it centered right now, so just select it and switch the alignment. There we go. But you might have it as different layers. Let me check. Oh, he has the hand there, right. That's why it looks a bit different. Yeah, we're just gonna fix this by turning this into different layers now. Or, by the way, I'm pressing Option and clicking to duplicate it. Option click, now or never. And we're just gonna fill in the entire space. Like so. And since my channel is about YouTube, why not add a YouTube logo in here? YouTube PNG. Bam. So if you wanted to recreate it exactly, then you would just have the hand there. Oh my gosh, what is happening? This is actually really good. What? I'm going to use that for a thumbnail. This is like actually good. One thing that I am noticing though is that there's basically no space over here, but there's a lot of space on the right. So we're gonna move those 2 layers more to the right, like so, and readjust the text just a tiny bit, just so that the spacing feels right. Select the text, and then also add our nice lift. Let's just go with lift. And that, I think, is pretty good. We can obviously also change it to the yellow that he uses if we want to. But for my thumbnails, I prefer the white version. Now, thumbnail 3. This is going to be a bit different because we're actually going to use AI. Oh, AI. But we're just going to search for black backgrounds with red stripes. And then we're just going to use one of those. This one is kind of okay. I think if we blur this one out, that might look good. So we're just going to remove the background again. As always, we're going to add the background, scale that up, move it backwards, select the layer and scale it up even further because I just want to have the red thingies there. And then we're going to blur it out a lot because otherwise it's going to look very pixelated. Just going to do this. Now you can actually see that when I try to adjust this, the line is not where my nose is. So I'm just going to move it a bit like so that it's actually centered. Always try to center things, always look for how much space there is on either side. For example, here I don't like that there's less space over here than there is over here. I'm not going to fix it now, but these are things to always look out for. Now text is just, it changed my life, and basically this vignette effect again with a very dramatic yellow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Vignette effect. And another vignette effect. Hear me out, because we're going to put this one below the text, but above my shirt, like so. So the reason I'm extending it like this right now is so that we have the bottom extended, but not the sides extended. Because I just want to, here, you can see the effect on my shirt right now. I just want to have my shirt darkened so that the text pops out more. And with that, we just recreated 3 Alex Hormozi thumbnails with, in my opinion, only one of them looking really good. But this one was definitely a success. If you want to have weekly live Q&A calls where I give you feedback on your videos and on your channel, and you get video ideas that you can copy every single week, then join YouTube with Ben. In YouTube with Ben, you also get this thumbnail template where you can just add yourself on one side, and then you have these graphs, these different things, 1 to 5 different steps, the quote template, and I'll add more like these in the community soon. That's going to be the first link in the description. See you there.